Hi everyone, it's Comics Villain and welcome to a new series I like to call The Backstory. In comics, just like in life, more often than not, you learn about the current life of the main character, and later, learn about their backstory. I wanted to get out there and show people a little bit about who the current line of indie content creators are, where they came from, and what lies ahead. In this series, I have contacted each creator to get specifics on themselves to share with you today. Alright, let's dive in. On this episode, we talk about Sean Campbell. Sean is a writer from Greenville, South Carolina, who had studied film and video production as well as screenwriting from the Fine Arts Center of South Carolina. He has put out his own series called The Ferryman, one of the first few comics to come from Comicsgate creators. He did so through Indiegogo, a popular crowdfunding website. His first campaign got him $3,833 with 348 backers, and his second campaign is on track to go above $5,000. You can find Sean on Twitter as well as his campaigns on Indiegogo. I had a chance to ask Sean about what got him into comics. In his own words, he states, "Honestly, I couldn't tell you one specific thing that got me into comics. I could tell you the first comic I ever bought with my own money, which was Uncanny X-Men number 281. But in the late 80s, early 90s, man, comics were just about everywhere. If you could read, there were comics around, old and new. Then when you figure out that they go together and tell these huge epic stories, and there's stores that you can go to that just sell comics, you mean the grocery store has been holding out on me? That's got to be it. The first time I walked into a legitimate comic shop, looking around and seeing all these books, more than I could ever read, and just imagining the possibility that they all in some way fit together, the possibilities, that's what got me into comics." Early on, Sean learned to write by picking up screenplays and then practiced writing his own. He states, "I've been writing since I was a teenager, mostly screenplays, occasionally pieces of novels, occasionally comics, mostly just for myself, trying to get better. I self-published one novel a few years ago and wrote a few scripts for contest and fellowship entries as well. My first ever rejection letter came from Dark Horse Comics way back when I was 18, so no matter what I did, or where the inspiration came from, it always seems to come back to comics for me." The first comic Sean had ever published was The Ferryman number 1, which released around November 2018. It's about a digital afterlife being made for the living, but the dead are coming back. I had the chance to back the campaign and receive the book at that time. You can check out my review for it if you follow the link in the description. It had such a unique feel and flow to it, I highly recommend you get it. I asked him which artists and writers have inspired you. He states, "Wow, so many. Chris Claremont is probably my biggest comics inspiration. There's also Garth Ennis, Roy Thomas, Ann Vicente, Chuck Dixon, Len Wein, Dennis O'Neil, of course. He wrote a book on comic book writing called The DC Comics Guide to Writing Comics, which I found very helpful. Also, you can't forget Frank Miller. Outside of comics, I draw inspiration from writers like Margaret Weis, Robert Jordan, Raymond Chandler, Edgar Rice Burroughs, Robert E. Howard, Lovecraft on occasion, and William Gibson." I asked Sean what projects he's looking forward to working on in the future. He states, "Right now, I'm working on promoting the campaign for the second book in The Ferryman, and tweaking the outlines for the rest of the books in the series. 5 books in total. Aside from those, I'm also doing the narrative work on a short little adventure game side project I've been working on with a friend. The Ferryman campaign has put that on the sideline for the moment, however. I have a few ideas for what I might do next. One that has been exciting me the most lately is a sort of spacefaring superhero story that I think would be really cool to read. If I want to read it, maybe you guys might too. Fingers crossed." And lastly, as far as current projects that Sean's working on right now, he states, "At the moment, I'm pushing The Ferryman number 2 as much as I can. The reaction to the first book in the series was very inspiring, and we stepped up our game to make issue number 2 even better than the first." Alright, well, that's it for this episode of The Backstory. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about Sean, and please look for his campaign, The Ferryman number 2, out on Indiegogo. Let's support our indie creators. If you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button as well as like, share, and comment on what you thought about the video. Thank you all for watching. I will see you on the next video. Take care, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.